Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Nurat Bello. Okay, for those that are just joining us for the first time on this channel, my name is Nurat Bello once again, and I recently immigrated to Canada on a work visa. I have a video where I explain everything in detail, and you might want to catch up on that. So for the sake of this video is gonna be like a follow-up on the last video that I made, which is the things that I love about Canada. So now this video is gonna be things that I do not like about Canada. Is more like things that are actually that got me by surprise, or like I do not just really like them. So please stay tuned and I will be right back. Now, if this is your first time of clicking on this video or on this channel, please consider subscribing to my channel. And also, if you are my old subscribers, thank you so much for always showing me a lot of love. It means a lot to me. You guys know that already. And but without further ado, let's jump right into the video.
I need a sign, just to keep me going. I need a sign, just to keep me hoping.
Now, the first on my list for the things I do not like about this country is the cold. Oh yes, you heard me right. I cannot overemphasize on the cold. The winter is really, really real. Yeah, so winter can never be overemphasized. You just have to come here to experience it yourself. Prior to me coming to this country, I actually watched a lot of vlogs to know about this country's weather, and I found that a lot of people do not like winter because it can be very, very crazy and very, very, it's something that they just don't like. Even the Canadians talk about it, that they prefer summer and all other seasons to winter. For most people, the winter can be very, very depressing, and this is one reason why some people decide to move back to their country, or whether go to other countries that are not as cold as Canada. Now, take for instance, I'm from Nigeria, and the weather there is about, we're used to 30 degrees Celsius, 35, and even upwards sometimes. So, and me coming here to this country to witness the winter, I mean, it's crazy. I remember when I landed in this country, it was around February, which is a peak of winter, and I didn't find it funny. I remember vividly that when I step out of the the airport, I'm like, is this the winter? Is this the cold they're actually talking about? It is really, really crazy. I did not find during the winter. Lots of people didn't like to go out. Some people prefer to work from home. Some people activity just drastically reduced. Some people that actually love to go out for fun, it's become the thing that they can't do again, because just have to stay indoor for most of the days in the winter period. And this is the reason why it can be very, very depressing to some people. And many immigrants, most especially the Africans that are here in Canada, do not like the weather at all. Some fall sick, some do not really understand their skin texture. Everything is just dry and flaky. So this is the reason why some people, like I say, do not like this country like like it is supposed to be. So this is a no-no for me. It's one thing that I did not like about Canada. So we'll move on to the second one. I remember when we newly landed in Canada, it was around February, and that was during the peak of snow. And I wanted to go out to the grocery store to get a few things to the house, because we need some supplies. So we didn't check the temperature at the time, because we're new, and we never knew that we are supposed to check the temperature before leaving your house during the winter, so you can know how to suit up, how to dress up, so that the cold won't get into your body. So it was around minus 40 degrees Celsius, guys. Saskatchewan province is one of the provinces that is very, very cold during the winter. Saskatchewan, Calgary, Nunavut, Yukon. Yeah, I live in Saskatchewan, so I can only talk about here because I've experienced the snow here. So we went out to the grocery store, and then it was around minus 40 degrees Celsius. And upon stepping down from the car, I was so traumatized by this cold, and I didn't know when I started crying. Yeah, I started crying. Like literally, I was crying. I was crying my eyes out. My husband was like, "Are you for real?" I'm like, I never knew this is what I'll be coming to experience here, and I wasn't prepared. Even the winter jacket I got from back home didn't do anything, guys. The winter jacket you bring it from your country, be it Africa or any other countries that you're coming from, you need to get the Canadian winter jacket. Yes, that is just for real, because it just would not work. So when we got into the grocery store, I had to tuck my hand into the pocket of the winter jacket. Even I was wearing glove, I was wearing neck scarf. It did not do the work. And as I was crying, the tears were drying up from my eyes. As there was rolling down, it was getting dried up. That is the extent of the cold. Now, if this is one thing that is a no-no for you, that's a deal breaker for you, you might consider, you might want to reconsider you moving here to Canada. But I will, of course, I will not discourage you. So think about this and be happy. The next on my list, I know people do not really talk about this, probably because you know they they just prefer not to talk about it. But I will talk about it because I just don't like it. And it is drinking from the tap. You heard me, guys. Tap water. You drink tap water. You gulp it in, and you. So yeah, back home, I'd never taken tap water before. Like, no. We either buy pure water or buy bottled water or water dispenser. That is what we are used to back home. But here in Canada, when I landed, my employer literally told me that, well, you be drinking from the tap, and because Saskatchewan province has the cleanest water, and people from around here takes the water, and nobody ever falls sick. At first, it took me some time to process it in my head, because I'm like, tap water, hey, cholera, hey, typhoid. But then I remember I'm in Canada, all of this thing I've been taken care of. They have their water treated. But then it's still something that it took me a while to get used to, because, taking my cup to the tap and getting water and then just taking it directly. Of course, we have this thing that you can use to purify your water. Yes, we got it at the end of the day, but still, I was just not comfortable about drinking from the tap. At the time, I and my family considered buying bottled water, just to because we just couldn't process the fact that we have to be drinking from tap. We did it for some weeks, but guys, we couldn't keep up because it was friggin' expensive. And the tax, I have to buy bottled water and then I still have to pay tax for it. Man, it is really not something we want to put our head into. So we had to opt out, and resulted into drinking tap water. And I've been fine. See, I'm even glowing. Drink tap water, I'll be happy. So that's it, guys. Drinking from tap is not something I like about this country. And if you want to come here, if you don't mind, you can always consider buying tap water, or buying bottled water or buying water dispenser, whichever you like. So guys, it's your choice. Now, if you're enjoying this video, kindly consider subscribing to my channel. Please, 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 please. I beg you, I beg you. Yes, I know I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm new, and I just want to be encouraged by you guys' subscription, and it's something that keep me going, and I just want to keep going on that lane. So please consider subscribing to my channel, and also watch my video to the very end, like my video, share it to anybody that you feel that they will benefit from it, and give a comment in the comment section. Now, the third thing that I do not like about this country is the inter-provincial disconnect. Oh yes, guys, Canada is made of 10 provinces and 3 territories, and each province has their own laws and policy that guide their province. Each province have their own tax fee that they put into groceries or whatever it is you're buying. So there's a kind of disconnect, and this is one thing that a lot of immigrants are really finding it hard to cope with. Okay, for instance, relocating from one province to the other can be very, very difficult, and this is because of the laws and policies they put in place in terms of education, healthcare, registering a business, even child daycare, and many more. Take, for example, the goods and services sales tax differs from one province to the other, and provinces such as Newfoundland and Labrador, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Prince Edward Island are charging 5% for their GST, and this has been blended with the provincial sales tax, which is the HST. So if you're buying any commodity in these provinces that I've just mentioned, you're paying 2 taxes, and one is for the GST and the other is for the HST. and this is really crazy. However, there are some provinces that do not charge for HST, such as provinces like the Yukon, the Nunavut, and all those cold region provinces. They do not pay for HST. So this is in some people, some immigrants, they really find this really really difficult to cope with, and this is a deal breaker for coming to Canada to most people. And it's one of the reasons why I do not like this country. Fourth on my list is high taxes. Oh yes, of course I've explained just a little from the previous point. Now this one has to deal with um, your salary. Sometimes this high taxes is one of the reasons why most immigrants find it difficult to live here, and that is real. That is for real, guys. So take for instance, you got a new job and you already make assumption of your taxes at the end of the year. That is your net income. You already put the amount of tax that will be going out from your money, and then all of a sudden you receive the pay stubs from your employer, and you realize how much you're actually paying as tax. It's going to be a huge sum, not just what you've already imagined. Sometimes you don't get the actual figure until you get the pay stubs. That is when you really know how much you're paying into that is leaving your money on tax. So guys, this is another deal breaker, or why most reason I mean one of the reasons why people decide to either leave this country or just have to cope. Take for instance, you have your 100% salary, and then you're at the end of the day you we're only going to be going home with 60%, why 40% is going into tax. No, this is killing. Yeah, living here, you have to pay aside the HST and GST tax, property tax is there, you pay insurance, everything you literally do in this country is taxed. So you cannot escape it. So you might want to reconsider before moving here. Thank you. Although the taxes are one reason why the federal government of Canada are able to put some things in place for the Canadians, like for example, social services, healthcare that you think is free, your tax is actually paying for it, and then your child education that you think is free. There are some parts that the government of Canada actually provides some incentive to daycare owner or school owner in order for them to keep things together. So the taxes that you are being billed are actually going into things here in Canada that supports people that live here. But it's just too much that people get to pay. So the next on my list that of the things that I didn't like about this country is the child daycare. And this is really personal to me, guys. Yes, it's really personal to me, and I do not like it at all. Yes, when I was coming to this country, I came with my 3-year-old boy, and then when we landed, I had to go to work, and my husband also had to, go to work too, and we need somewhere to put my son. And in Canada, you're allowed to put a child between 1 to 5 years in daycare, and from 6 years up to the age of 18, they have free education. Now we begin to look for a government licensed daycare for my 3-year-old boy, and it wasn't funny. It wasn't easy at all, and even up until now, we haven't found one. We had to resort into a privately owned daycare, and this is really, really expensive. The government licensed daycare, you pay about 250 to 275 Canadian dollar. But here, for the privately owned daycare, you get to pay way above, and this is depending on the age of your child. My son was 3 years, and we paid about 600 Canadian dollars, and this is not even our budget. This is way way beyond our budget. You like we have other bills we have to pay. We have the house rent, we have groceries to shop for, we have some unexpected expenses too. So paying $600 for a month for a child is not what we budgeted for. And coming from Nigeria, where we have options of taking your child to school, we have the privately owned school, we have the government owned school, and you can decide to take your child to the school that is within your budget. But here, if you can't take your child to if you are unable to take your child to government licensed daycare, which is very very the charge is very very minimal, and you can afford it, you can only up to a private owned daycare, and this is really expensive. I also heard that when your child is within about 0 to like 18 months, you get to pay even way higher. In the case of a privately owned daycare, you pay like 800, 1,000, depending on what the case is. So this is a deal breaker for me. Is one of the real reasons why I didn't like about why I didn't like Canada, because I have to pay through my nose to send my son to school, and it's even daycare. So you may want to think about this before opting to come to Canada, or if you have children and they are within they are below 5 years old, this is the amount to be paying for daycare, because you have to go to work and they have to be somewhere where they can be taken care of. Except if you have 6 year son and above, that is when you can enjoy the government free education. And that's it. Now, the six things on my list of the things that I do not like about this country is the high cost of housing and high cost of commodities. Oh yes, guys, housing in Canada is very, very expensive. Prior to about 2 years ago or 3 years ago, where I was watching different vlog, preparing to come to Canada and all, I understand that things are really cheap at the time, but now it's really expensive. If you want to buy a house in Canada, your pockets has to be very, very full. Of course, it's going to be mortgaged, but still you have to pay a huge sum of amount before you can be given the key to your house. And even those of us that we are still renting apartments or condos, you might want to also reconsider this, because before coming to this country, when I did my research, house here in Saskatoon falls between 1,200 Canadian dollars to 1,500 Canadian dollars. But now we are paying way above that. If you want to get a two-bedroom apartment, we're thinking of paying from 1,800 Canadian dollar and upwards. Though the housing expenses in Ontario, provinces, Ontario, or those ones that are very, very developed, like they are way expensive. In Ontario, for you to get a bedroom apartment, to be thinking of 2,200 cards and even upwards. So, guys, this is not funny. You have to pay bills from left, right, and center. Another thing is phone bill, guys. Yes, phone bill is another hard stroke. Like for I and my husband, we pay about 140 Canadian dollar every month for phone bills, and this is really expensive. So guys, another thing is though the internet bills and water bills all comes with the house bill, though they said the internet is free for this house. So but water bills, heats, everything is added to the rent that we're paying currently. And also you also the cost of insurance, insuring your car or insuring your house if you own the house, is also very expensive. So you might want to consider, all of these bills before you move to this country. So this is a deal breaker for most immigrants that are living here, and so it is for me too. It's a no-no for me because yeah, freaking expensive. Okay, now the last one on my list, which is the seventh things that I didn't like about this country, is the low fashion sense. Mm-mm. Yes, guys, let's be real. Canada can be everything, but the sense of fashion is nothing to write home about. Like, I wish I had known this before moving here. Like, I would have, buy a lot of nice outfits from back home, Nigeria. Yes, we have really nice outfits. We have fashion people from back home, and I would have brought lots of the clothes that I have when I was moving here, because you have only you're only assigned to bring two luggages and two bags and one luggage, and we minimize everything that we are bringing to this country. But I wish I'd known this, and I wish I have packed a lot of clothes and did extra cargo, but I didn't do that. So most of my clothes I gave it out. My shoes I have to give it out, because I was trying to minimize, 23 kgs in two boxes, and 10 kg in the hand luggage. So we don't have a lot of space to bring a lot of things. So, but when I got here, their sense of fashion is literally nothing to write home about. Like, people don't really take fashion here for nothing. They just feel like just put on something that you're comfortable with and you leave. So, like, I do not like it, because of course you don't have anybody you're showing off to, but sometimes you just want to look good. And I've been to stores here like the Value Village, where you go for thrift shopping. Yes, you see some nice things to pick there, but then You can never compare it to what you have in your country or what I have in my country, or compare it to what they have in the United Kingdom or United States of America. So their sense of fashion is. Mm-mm. So my advice to ladies, if you're coming to Canada, you want to come with your wig. This I got it from back home, Nigeria. Yes, we are fashion people. And also, you also want to come with your nice sneakers. Yeah, you can bring nice outfits. You want to come with your makeup. Yeah. So I'm gonna do a video of things that you should bring to Canada when you're coming, and things you should not bring to Canada. So guys, this will mark the end of this video. Thank you so much for staying up until these moments with me here, and I really appreciate it. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you like this video, and also put a comment in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up, and also share my video with whoever you think might, you know, might learn from it. So I'll see you in my next video. Bye.